Hello, welcome to your second lesson in the Happy 2024 Challenge. And today we're going to talk about the logistics of planning and scheduling your happy goals. And let's just start out with talking about how productivity is not necessarily fun. Well, obsessing and worshiping productivity is not fun. Like, you might enjoy the beauty of organizational systems and the feeling of accomplishment of doing something productive, but no one naturally enjoys the feeling of being burnt out and hustling for hustle's sake. That, if you do, that's coming from a deviated trauma response. Your to-do list is killing you, okay? Like, I love lists, I have lists, I love all of the lists, okay? But what I have recently realized is that if I put write best-selling book and then get car oil changed on the same list, then I am likely to get the car oil changed because it's listed on there with equal importance and weight. And then I'll explain how I didn't have enough time to write that book because I was busy doing my errands. But hey, they were on the same list, and if those are the only two things on the list, then I got 50% of them done, right? Too bad I just didn't give a shit about my oil getting changed. And the fact that I don't have another book written is slowly actually eating away at my soul. Too bad indeed. So really it's on me. Like, how dare I put those things on the same list, those things might both need to be done, but they have different rankings in my heart. And so does your fun goal. And putting these kinds of things on the same list is a way to self-sabotage ourselves. It's a kind of perfectionism. It's this way to kind of give ourselves speed bumps and excuses and blame. And yeah, it's the whole thing. So guess what? Your fun goal doesn't need to go on your to-do list. Yeah, it doesn't get to go next to groceries or school pickup or fill meds or anything else. Like, when it comes to scheduling for your fun goal, it gets the importance of a wedding. Like, it's happening. You did not forget this. And that's even if the thing that you want to do is every single day, okay? So your whole life is about to open up around this goal, my friend. Like, you might need to have a family meeting about it. In fact, I encourage you to have a family meeting about it. Get your partner, your spouse, your roommates, your kids involved. It's going to make it a hell of a lot easier, especially if you have some accountability and enthusiasm going on. The only thing you need to decide right now is how often you want to repeat your goal and what supplies you're going to need. And that's our objective today, is really to get into the logistics of how to make this happen. This part isn't necessarily as sexy, but for anything fun and creative, there does need to be a little bit of structure so that once you get there, you have the freedom and flow. So let's say your goal is to go on a picnic. Then you would think about how often you would want to go on a picnic. Like, how happy, or how often would it make you happy to go on a picnic? I don't want to hear how realistic it is for you to go on a picnic, because then you're going to be like, never. That's not what we're here to do. Like, I'll help you figure out how to make it happen in creative ways. I want to know, honestly, remember how we were talking about yesterday about how if you're jealous of kids, what do they get to do? Like, in a perfect world, how often would you want to do the thing that you want to do? I want to know, honestly, how often do you want to do the thing that you decided on last night? So it doesn't have to be every day. That's okay. If you're like, no, realistically, I think I'd rather do that thing every week, every other week, one weekend a month, every month, every 6 months. I don't know. It could be something your heart and body wants to do every 4 days. I don't know. What is it? It doesn't matter, but I do want you to decide on some sort of recurrence, okay? Even if that seems unreasonable and undoable with your current schedule, okay? Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. And tonight in the Q&A, the live call, we're going to figure out how to make it happen. Okay. So just put that aside. Let me do that. And if you have more than one goal, then pick the time frequency recurrence for each one. Establish that recurring element for each one. It'll probably be a little different for each one. Okay, so you might have also picked something that isn't really a recurring goal. You might have picked one big fat goal, okay, like go to Australia or bungee jump or dye your hair a rainbow or something, right? Like something that isn't necessarily a repetitive thing. So in that case, I want you to set a date inside of this calendar year, and I'm going to explain what I mean. So I'll get to that in a second, but I want to walk you through how to get there. So let's look at supplies first. You're probably going to need something, right? Or you might want something. So if you're going on picnics, let's keep going with that example. You might want a cute little picnic basket or a blanket or reusable forks or a straw. I don't know. If you're going to another country, you're going to need a passport, a plane ticket, somewhere to stay, like a hotel or something, right? You're also going to want to do research, maybe different parks to go to on your picnics, different bus routes to get there, the cheapest plane tickets, the most expensive plane tickets, any vaccinations you're going to need, where you can bungee jump in your country. I just found out there's only like 12 places to do that here in America. Okay. But anyway, so then you're going to you have the supplies that you want and need. You have researched the places, the things that you need. And through research, you might understand that you need more supplies, right? Like vaccinations might cost money, Bus route might cost a bus pass, right? So you're informing those supplies. And now you have, through your research, how much things cost, right? So now you need to budget out those supplies and expenses. I told you it's not very sexy. So unless you love this, unless you're a Capricorn, and I love you, I love my Capricorns. So if you have a big fat goal, figure out the overall cost and add 15% to it for wiggle room. Okay, so let's do an example, an easy example, round example. So let's say you add up all your expenses for your trip to Australia. This is a very cheap trip for $1,000. Everything's $1,000. So then you're going to add 15% to that for wiggle room, and that's $150 more. So now we're at $1,150, okay? So now you're going to figure out how much you could save every week. Let's say that you find out with everything that you make and how much you could save, that you can save $100 per week, because I'm making it easy with round numbers. Then you count out how many weeks that it'll take you to get to that $1,150 total, okay? So in order to do that, I'm going to do 1150 divided by 100, and that equals 11.5 weeks. So then I'm going to round up. So that's 12 weeks. So you would have enough money saved in 12 weeks. So then you can set your deadline to when you'd have enough money to 12 weeks from now. So then I would set up recurring savings transfers from my checking to my savings account and my automated banking, so that I don't even need to think about it, right? So every Friday, $100 moves from my checking account to my savings account. If you don't have that feature in your banking, you can set an alarm every Friday to manually transfer that money. If you don't have a bank account, you can use cash, and every Friday you can put $100 into your piggy bank. Okay, this might take longer for you depending on how much money it is, how much you're able to save, but that's the process. Okay. Now, depending on your goal, you might also need to book something in advance. So you could wait until you have enough money into your bank account to fund the available event ticket or something, right? So what I'm trying to say is if you have $0, then you can't really buy the ticket to go bungee jumping yet. You're going to have to wait until you have that much money to buy that. But you can still say okay, I have 12 weeks, so I'm going to count that many weeks out. And that's it'll at least need to be April or May or whatever when I'm going. So then you start looking at those times. You might want to take off work at that point, whatever. But then once you maybe are saving more than that amount of ticket because you need a travel or whatever. But as soon as you have that much money, then you withdraw from that bank account and you buy the event ticket or the plane ticket, because usually the further out you book in advance, the more money you save. And then you also have a concrete date to work around. But that's only if you're sure that you can save all of that money before the date comes. Okay, or you can wait until the very end, book everything, and then wait further into the future. Now, as far as gathering supplies, you'll also need to schedule a date to go shopping. So things like this, and also that can be after you save the money as well, obviously. And things like this can also go on a regular to-do list, shopping list, but you still need to put it on your calendar. And having a family meeting to let the people closest to you know what you're doing also needs to be scheduled, not just so that you follow through with it and you have time to think about what you want to say, but also to be respectful of other people's times and schedules. Now, I personally think that it's a good goal to have one fun goal that's like recurring on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, and then also one big fat goal that you're working towards, a big old joy booster somewhere in the middle of the year. But circling back to what I said in terms of how to make sure that this is something that's happening every day, we're going to talk about that in terms of maintaining it. But, in terms of planning and scheduling, there really is nothing wrong with actually writing it on your calendar, scheduling, and using any of your existing systems that you have in place right now, obviously. What I want you to understand when I said that, this is like a wedding and you're not going to forget it, is that your fun goals and your passion and your joy cannot be any more listed under the same importance, even and especially in your mind, as an errand that gives you no joy or something that you even dread. Your fun goals must become non-negotiables. So anything that you do that's a new habit, it has to be incorporated into your routine and repertoire, no matter what your consistency is in terms of daily, weekly, or monthly recurrence. Like, stacking your habit is always the best way to begin. So attach your new fun goal onto something that exists in your life, like that is on that same consistency recurrence. So if you're adding something in daily, then do it directly after you do something else that is also daily, like brushing your teeth or eating lunch. And then you can also write physical notes to post around your house, set alarms on your phone and calendar, tell people that you live with that you're doing it, plan the night before, and have an accountability buddy. People who create a deadline and share their goals with someone else are over 85% likely to achieve their goals versus people who just think about it and don't even write it down. They're 5% likely to achieve the same goal. So the fact that you're writing stuff down right now in your workbook and then maybe telling somebody else here in the community is so helpful in terms of you actually accomplishing what you want to do in 2024. So fill out your worksheet, and even if the recurrence seems unreasonable and undoable, that's okay. In tonight's live call, like I said, I will help you brainstorm innovative, creative, and problem-solving ways to make sure that you can have that goal as fun and in your life as possible as often as you want. All right, I will see you tonight and then again tomorrow. All right.